Guess what, kids? We got the promotion.
I got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine royalty, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison.
Hello, humans. It is I, Maeve the human, broadcasting to you yet again on the wild west of the internet, once again speaking about our sovereign queen and president, Ashley Barrett. And guys, I've heard your feedback. I love that I've discovered Ashley stans, which, in my core, I always knew they were there. In my last video, we covered not only an overview of Ashley's character, but an in-depth analysis of every single fit ever witnessed on Ashley's character from seasons 1, from the very, very beginning, all the way to about halfway through season 3, in which our Ashley has now shed her chrysalis, that is, talent manager and senior vice president. Oh no! She, as a Pokemon, has now reached her final form. Or so we think. She's now climbed to the very top of the precarious tree that is VOT International. CEO, baby. We have now reached part 2 of our journey, in which we will now delve into the premiere of Ashley Barrett's CEO wardrobe, all the way up to the season 3 finale. And this is mainly because the last video covered so much that my laptop nearly burst into flames, caused a black hole damn near. So I'm cutting myself off around 40 minutes, so I'm gonna be a little bit more succinct. I'll try, but, I tend to ramble. If you like this video and would like to see more, feel free to hit that like button or smash that subscribe. Down in the description are links to things like my coffee and my Patreon. Let's proceed. Ashley Barrett, CEO of VOT International. Finally, our Ashley has climbed the corporate ladder to the tippy top of the mountain, and we see just how ecstatic this makes her. With the removal of the previous CEO, Stan Edgar, because of Victoria's betrayal of her father figure in order to protect her human daughter Zoe in the face of Homelander's threats, Stan Edgar was then, in turn, removed from his role, leaving a hole for CEO, in which Ashley was quickly deemed to fill. Ashley has now climbed all the way to the top of the corporate ladder at VOT. Her wildest fantasy has now become a reality, and it happened in a relatively short amount of time, basically because of the mechanisms of a bunch of psychopathic soups, but also because of her raw competency and how good she is at her role. In her mind, this is a very well-deserved promotion, as she has been steadfastly essential to keeping VOT afloat, and she has worked incredibly hard to earn this in her own life, even if no one really appreciates her for it. In the moment she announces this promotion to the boardroom, we see a glimpse into the fascinating origin story of Ashley as she reveals, about to say, a few sentimental words that, quote, her mom used to say to her before she died of cancer when Ashley was 17. Now, this is like a wild, tragic origin story for her to just reveal on the fly, and before she can get another word in, Homelander comes in and tells her to can it. She folds instantly, but not shaken. The shot, it lingers on her, and we see she is still glowing with pride at this achievement. The cruel dismissal of a clearly very powerful and traumatic experience that directly explains part of Ashley's persona is a successful comedic device. That leaves us wanting, but demonstrates in turn that this promotion, as she calls it, is nothing more than her filling another hole that Homelander has left in his wake. A convenience for him. But Ashley is blinded by ambition and true gratitude of being appreciated. Though she is faced with the perilous role at VOT of being their main goalkeeper and in charge of damage control, her upward climb at Vought's corporate hierarchy has been brought about by her lethal competency at her job. Her survival and persistence are a testament to her hardworking and dedicated nature. She truly loves her job, which is an aspect of her personality that we've seen since her introduction. Ashley is wearing a simple, long-sleeved black dress with sharp accentuating shoulders, which give her a powerful silhouette. For her earrings, she's feeling herself. We've got dangly blue black stone pearl drop earrings. It seems like Ashley, for her very first day as CEO, wanted to play it safe, not flaunt, and still remain humble, because she truly does feel humbled. So now that Ashley is CEO, she's going to dress down for the occasion, okay? Being CEO comes with a ton of public representation. She's going to always be in the public eye, as well as the unapologetic reflection of status. She earned this place at the top, and she's going to express herself through her wardrobe in ways that a CEO might not typically. She is very fashionably keen, and it cannot be ignored. During this first initial meeting, they go around the room, and Homelander is at the head of the table. He's supposedly running things now, and Ashley is still like, I don't know, his right-hand man, but she is still CEO. So the first two men at the board meeting, you know, they kiss his ass and they sing his praises. And then the third person to speak is a woman named Maureen, who then asks Homelander a perfectly legitimate question about the mechanics of the company and how he would like to address it. Now, Homelander is flabbergasted because he does not know what the hell she's even talking about. He doesn't know how to answer that. So instead, he admonishes her and tells her to get out. And Ashley follows up. She's like, yeah, get out. Ashley's desperate to stay on Homelander's good side and is always down to kick some corporate ass. But it may be because she's a woman. I think that they made her a woman to drive the point home. But I think if it was a man, the same thing would have happened. But that's just my opinion. Later in the episode, we see Ashley in her office surrounded by a botanical garden of celebratory flowers that's been sent to her. She does a little throwaway joke about one of them being sent from some dude who she says is a good licker. Just like another throwaway joke about her sexually exploitative nature and how candid it is for her. It's like such a common topic in her life. Every two lines, you know, we get a little hint at that. It must at least be the following day because she is wearing a boots the house down outfit, okay? She's wearing a fabulous yellow, leaf flower patterned jacket, a white undershirt, black form-fitting pants, and small complementary hoops. Her jacket has a big, belt buckle that's white, and oh, I really like this fit on her. We're starting out strong. In this scene, she mediates a meeting that A-Train pushed for between A-Train and Blue Hawk, discussing Blue Hawk's racial profiling. Now, this is typically, in Ashley's eyes, a sort of schedule event that's beneath her typical attention. But, with all credit due, she does treat it with the same level of severity. She does put Blue Hawk in his place with one single powerful look. A look that says, "Do you want me to cancel you?" She's not playing favorites here. As much as she wanted to just sweep the issue under the rug and avoid it altogether, she has the same fire towards anyone underneath her, no matter who they are. So Blue Hawk is an asshole, for real, and A-Train is a flimsy piece of shit who chooses when to care when it suits him best. So Ashley truly hates both sides. So she placates the situation by singing fake praises to both of them about communication and how this is great and yada yada yada. So she gives Blue Hawk a slap on the wrist, which A-Train doesn't have the balls to retort, and she just kind of resolves the whole situation flawlessly, like a babysitter calming down a tantrum, for real. Same day, same outfit. Ashley is accommodated by lesser Ashley in the main 7 boardroom as they're discussing the resurfacing of Soldier Boy as he detonated and killed a bunch of people. She doesn't speak in this sequence, she's just a silent witness taking notes. But later on, we see in her office, once again, as Starlight bursts in demanding to talk about the situation. Starlight is trailed by a nerdy-looking assistant who, by the way, remember him, okay? Because he's gonna come back. So he leaves her, and Starlight then demands to Ashley to know what Homelander did to Maeve, who has just disappeared in a puff of smoke. Ashley begins to recite the scripted response that Maeve is at a wellness retreat in Malibu, which is no cell phones and completely off the grid, and that we should all support her and blah blah blah, a bunch of syrupy nonsense about how she's brave Maeve and all this, but it's complete BS. Starlight calls her out on her crap right away, stopping her in her tracks and begging her to get real and help her take down Homelander, who is out of control. She begs Ashley to be a human being and to help her find Maeve. Now, this is not the first time a soup has begged Ashley to tap into her human nature, a strength which she seems to often dismiss, as the mask of plastic reassurance that has sort of melded into her persona that has always been there to help cover up for Vought suddenly slips. Starlight is inviting Ashley into a rare moment for them to step into a space where they can be truly honest and frank with one another in a world that is constantly sidestepping through fake PR. Ashley is truly a hostage under Homelander as much as anyone, disguising it with a frantic performance of giving the appearance of control. But Starlight begs Ashley to tell her the truth, if anything, for Maeve's sake. In a very impactful moment, Starlight says to Ashley that this job can't be worth your life, which really hits home for her. Finally, someone is verbally acknowledging the true stakes of her position at Vought, but in this statement, reversely, this is almost borderline mockery towards Ashley, as Starlight doesn't seem to understand that it's this job or her life. Ashley cracks. In a crazy moment of letting her guard down, she utters to Starlight in a whispered tone, almost like she thinks people are listening, that she doesn't have powers. What she means by this is that she doesn't have the means of physically protecting herself. She's always being held situationally hostage by these superhero freaks who can hurt her without blinking an eye. Starlight says in her typical Disney-coded crap that you don't need powers, you just need to be human. As a mortal walking amongst gods, Ashley is always catering to the whims of these egotistical soup freak maniacs, and they just dispose of life as if it were nothing. On top of that, Ashley's job at Vought sort of coldly processes human lives and emotions as statistics and PR campaigns. In every aspect of her life at Vought, Ashley is truly isolated from any sense of true humanity. Starlight in this moment is begging Ashley to not be like the other maniacs that run this place, to see reason about what is right and wrong. She asks Ashley yet again, where is Maeve? Is she even alive? Ashley seems truly at a loss for words, and in an incredible moment of acting from Colby, we see a mental battle go on within Ashley as she debates whether or not she should give more corporate nonsense or be legitimate and tell Starlight the truth. The words are just under the surface. The dam is about to break. This is one of the most vulnerable moments we've ever seen from Ashley, as in this moment, she seems to recognize the true wrongdoing of the situation. But then we see the mental battle conclude. She makes a decision. She can't gather the courage to tell Starlight the truth in the face of Homelander's threats, so she snaps back into her CEO persona. She tells Starlight, almost reminding herself at the same time, that I am CEO. Next time, make a fucking appointment. At the same time dismissing both Starlight's outreached hand and the opportunity to ask for help to get out of her current situation. Starlight leaves, genuinely very disappointed in how close she got to getting through to Ashley. But she has made her decision. She has chosen her position at Vought, even in the face of the atrocities that they're committing. Alright people, we have arrived at my all-time favorite look on Ashley in the entire season. Ashley is wearing a outlandish patterned tux of vertical and angular red and white stripes upon a jacket, as well as like flattering white slacks to bounce the outfit, but she looks like a circus tent because her life is a circus. Vought International is a circus full of freaks and clowns, and Ashley is the ringleader. She is dressing for the part to reflect all of the backwards, ridiculous situations she always finds herself in order to fight for her position, if not her very life. So with this look, she's not wearing any flashy jewelry. The jacket speaks enough for itself. So I respect that. But she does wear simple small gold hoops. She's not without jewelry. Love her for that. We first see her with the Deep, Black Noir, and Homelander gathered around a security monitor as they review footage of Soldier Boy detonating and killing Crimson Countess. The Deep can't seem to operate the equipment properly. Homelander asks if anyone more qualified can do this, and then the Deep sheepishly lies about how Ashley thought to fire everyone on the security team, but Ashley, affronted by this, corrects him that he fired everyone on the security team. Now, if there's one person that we learn that Ashley does not take shit from, it's the Deep. His, intelligence being comparable to a peanut is just too much for Ashley to bear. It seems like she knows really how to put him in his place. She's truly not afraid of him. The group then sees irrefutable evidence that Soldier Boy is back, alive, and has now killed his old lover, Crimson Countess. Now, they all react differently. The Deep says that it's CGI, which is really funny. Ashley poses that it's a cosplayer. Interesting. Both theorizing that it's not real out of denial. Homelander stands in what seems to be reverent awe because he recognizes that, yes, it is Soldier Boy, because he knows him better than anybody. Black Noir just stands there frozen, and what we find out is shock. Ashley takes the defensive approach. As the functioning tool of damage control, she immediately launches into a plan of response. Amongst her babbling and going on, Homelander is trying to think and formulate his own plan, which is the one that they'll obviously go with. He tells her to shut up like an annoying insect, which demonstrates the fact that he still has zero respect for her, even though that she's CEO. She's still completely a worthless underling to him. Homelander then defends Soldier Boy to the group about how he used to be the face of Vought before Homelander and that any bad press about him would be disastrous. On top of this, Homelander was also raised as a lab rat to be basically the successor to Soldier Boy. So he grew up studying him, he reveres him, so he's going to defend him till the end, at least at this point. Now, like a kamikaze, Soldier Boy has come back and is this huge issue for Homelander to deal with. He's beginning to crack under the pressure of getting everything he ever wanted, or what he thought he wanted. He begins to talk to himself, quiet, unhinged, muttering about how everything is going to fall apart, and including his own mental state, which seems to be unraveling. Ashley, who already takes typically the brunt force of Homelander's abuse, knows more than anyone that his mental state is extremely delicate. She watches this moment of him unraveling and begins to pick at her hair nervously, knowing that she's the one that will suffer the consequences of his mental state. It's very interesting to note that Ashley's jacket with the red and white stripes is akin to Homelander's stripes on his cape, almost like she's trying to dress subconsciously in a way that he would approve of, or to embody the power that he has. Homelander commands Ashley and the Deep to burn and bury the footage. No one sees it. And he then tells Ashley that if the Deep fucks up, it's on her head. Now he's kind of like lumping them together. Ashley and the Deep share an understanding look that they are in this together in the face of Homelander's unraveling. In this moment, we see that the Deep and Ashley are about on the same level of consideration in Homelander's eyes. The Deep is a member of the Seven, a soup, and seems to genuinely be on Homelander's side, even if he does grovel for his approval. And he does put up with being taunted in terrible ways, which works for Homelander's ego. At the same time, the Deep is so unbelievably fucking stupid. He's like completely worthless in anything that requires any sort of brain processing. On the opposite side, we have Ashley, a mortal woman, therefore inferior in Homelander's eyes, but she also at the same time is frighteningly competent at any task that he puts before her. So even if he doesn't hold her to the same respect as a Soup, he can't seem to dispose of her because she's just too damn useful. So even if she's an annoying insect, her help is just too effective to do away with. Later in the episode, after some super shenanigans, we catch Ashley yet again in her office as she's sitting on the couch in a moment of quiet, finally, watching A-Train's stupid A-Train to Africa promo. It's superficial and dumb, just like A-Train. Ashley watches this in disgust when all of a sudden A-Train himself busts into her office. She reluctantly greets him and lies to him about liking the promo, saying that it's full of strength and dignity, the exact opposite of what she really thinks. This is just yet another example of Ashley saying these non-specific blasé things to mediate situations. A-Train ignores this and demands to know what she is doing about Blue Hawk. He enters the confrontation right away, disposing of pleasantries. Ashley takes a breath and then gives a few complimentary statements about how they are all heartbroken over A-Train's brother's injury. A-Train argues that it wasn't an accident and that Blue Hawk just went crazy for no reason. Ashley then laughably quotes that Blue Hawk felt threatened, which is such a stupid, typical motivation for enacted violence against criminalized minorities. This is a statement often made in the real world, which is often a very purposeful action found in the boys. Ashley then tells A-Train that she has assigned 12 weeks of sensitivity training to Blue Hawk, which A-Train does not accept. He says he wants to bring charges to Blue Hawk, which Ashley then deflects, saying that persecuting him would make things worse. A-Train rebukes this with a statement of, "I thought we got rid of the Nazis around here." And this is a low blow for the PR manager of Vought. So this triggers like this sleeper agent protocol in Ashley as she delivers probably the same line she has 1,000 times. A-Train's tantrum is clearly very stressful for Ashley, who already has so much to worry about as it is. So much so that A-Train whining about Blue Hawk to defend a black community that he wouldn't have given a shit about if his brother hadn't asked him to, dwindles in comparison to all of Homelander's antics and the constant threats upon Ashley's life. We see this stress affect her. She begins to play with her hair nervously, not mentally prepared to deal with A-Train's superficial bullshit right now. A-Train doesn't heed this and continues, saying that he'll hunt down Blue Hawk himself. Ashley jumps to shut the idea down, enacting the keyword Homelander, the word of authority, that he wants everyone to remain on a united front right now with no soup-on-soup violence. A-Train keeps pushing, demanding that he wants some justice for what happened to his brother. This is Ashley's last straw. This is really about A-Train's brother, which has to do with A-Train. So now he's decided to care about the issue in a nearby black community only because his brother asked him to. A-Train is a superficial, shallow bitch who is fake as hell, a hypocrite who has inflicted suffering upon countless people for his own selfish purposes, but is outraged when the same is done to him in return. Ashley, out of everyone, knows all of A-Train's dirt, as she's expected to clean up after him while he suffers no repercussions. She's always scrambling to placate him, and this has now pushed her to the brink. Ashley pauses in audacity of his statement and then eggs him into repeating it. When he does, she then rips out a giant chunk of her hair in front of him, lashing out finally in the stress that has overwhelmed her. A-Train is appalled and bewildered by this, and so it seems is Ashley. But then she then launches into a well-deserved rant to A-Train that he needs to hear. I have spent over 100 hours in crisis management meetings, specifically figuring out how to cover up your bullshit, including all 3 of your straight up while you were at the club with your crew or getting your toe sucked by Popclaw, who, let's not forget, you also murdered. Yeah, that's right. I know about that. You do not give a shit about all the collateral you caused then. Now, all of a sudden, you care because it happened to you? Go fuck yourself. Yeah, that's right. I said that. Out loud. We are on our feet in the stadium, people. People are screaming in the streets. This is the most badass pinnacle of Ashley's entire character development. This is the moment where she claimed true ownership that she is the main character, bitch. Ashley has finally broken her silence. This is perhaps one of her most powerful moments in the entire series. It's the first time that she truly stands up to a superhero capable of hurting her or even killing her and showing no fear. This is a feeling that she has been battling since her terror under Homelander first began. A feeling holding her fundamentally hostage and just taking shit all the time from these soups, thinking that they might in turn hurt her if she doesn't. She then throws this all to the wind to confront A-Train for his insane hypocrisy and stand up for herself. We as a class are so proud of her. In the face of her words, A-Train feels enough shame from the cold, hard truth that he backs down and leaves without a word. Like so many bullies who put on a mean front in order to put people down, he folds like the pussy he really is. Ashley is left stunned and speechless at her own act of power and actually saying what she really wanted for once. Later on in the very same episode, we then see A-Train for the first time genuinely apologize to Huey for killing his girlfriend. Now, this is the event that started all of this, what triggered Huey in the very beginning to swear his hatred upon Soups and join Butcher to take them down. It was a domino effect, Robin's death, that began all of this and led us to where we are now. At the initial first fake apology, Ashley was there, but now we see the true resignation of the conflict all these seasons later, and once again, Ashley is behind it. Huey is genuinely stunned by this authentic apology from A-Train, and this character development possibly never would have happened if it weren't for Ashley and how she admonished A-Train earlier and put him in his place mentally, making him realize and recognize his actions. A-Train genuinely apologizes in this moment because it is only until now that he understands truly the pain that he inflicted on others, because now a Soup has in turn hurt somebody that he loves. A-Train is the kind of person that empathy needs to be taught to him. He needs to experience it for himself in order for him to understand the feeling in others. Later on in the episode, this is all the same day, by the way, oh my god, we see her yet again backstage on a set in which we see Starlight, Homelander, and Victoria Newman conducting an interview. As Homelander spouts deflective derogatory answers that lie about the Soldier Boy situation, Ashley furiously panics off camera towards the news lady, and the moment the cameras cut, she hilariously unleashes her fury upon the poor newswoman.
Amateur, the next report you're gonna be doing is inside my f***ing asshole, you piece of shit.
Ashley is back at it without missing a beat. She's probably still riding the high of dominating the hell out of A-Train earlier. The next episode begins with Ashley as she's on a news segment being interviewed about Vought's stance on Starlight leaving the Seven and going rogue. She spits the regular jargon in order to keep public control. But in this segment, she's wearing a black suit jacket with a silver diagonal fringe. Now, I think she was leaning more into the professional, trustable look for this situation, but she couldn't help the fashion flair that she loves so much. We'll come to see more about this outfit when she's not sitting at a desk cutting her off halfway. She has no earrings or jewelry of note, as it is more a toned-down business outfit. But I also love how Ashley is being interviewed by her bottom, so it reinforces the fact that she's the one truly conducting the interview. Ashley spouts some fake news nonsense that is a smear against Starlight in order to discredit her. her. She then starts a conspiracy theory about Kimiko being a known terrorist, and this is all a long-term plan in order to steer the public against Starlight, which continues into the next season. Later on in the episode, same day, same outfit, Ashley talks to A-Train in his hospital room, who has regained consciousness after a severe heart attack he had after using his powers and stressed whatever heart condition he had while he was murdering Blue Hawk. Now that she's standing, it's revealed that this is a full-length fit, with the jacket taking an unexpected extra turn. The fringe leads all the way down, and she seems to have like a black pencil skirt and heels. Very flattering look. A-Train asks her what happened, and she responds with the PR cover-up story that they've formulated to help him go back into the public eye. She says that Soldier Boy attacked him and Blue Hawk, and that heroically Blue Hawk died, saving A-Train, and now that there is a super-abled heart available, which is a very rare occurrence, he has now received Blue Hawk's heart in a non-consensual heart transplant. So A-Train now has the heart of a racist and the man who paralyzed his brother. When he receives this news, we hear the heart monitor spike, which I think is so funny. But with that said, A-Train can run again. He can use his powers. So Vought intends to relaunch him back into the public eye, as long as he's fine with talking shit about Starlight, of course. She then mentions that they're now working on a gritty biopic of A-Train called Training A-Train, which is a running gag. She goes into a spiel about it now, but it comes back later. She says they want to get Tom Hanks for it in this bit, but later on it's revealed that they got the actual Will Ferrell to play the part. So Ashley is very over-enthusiastic for A-Train in this moment instead of empathetic to how he might feel about all of this. All of this is a shock to A-Train and a horrifying paradox, but because he can run again, Ashley is recognizing it as a total win for him.
You're gonna get to run again. Can I get a what?
The Season 3 finale. The episode begins with a large protest against Homelander after Starlight in the last episode tricked him into admitting live on air that he killed Supersonic and locked up Maeve. Ashley is seen walking down a hall with the Deep, who asks her where Homelander is. She replies that she doesn't know where Homelander is, but she does know that the Attorney General is on their way right now with a search warrant to look for Maeve. They walk around a corner to reveal Maeve's cell. She's been locked up at Vought this whole time. Ashley watches on and mouths "I'm sorry" to Maeve as they flood the room with gas and knock her out. Ashley is clearly very distressed and regretful of having to do this to Maeve, and Maeve looks at her devastated and betrayed. The last time that Maeve spoke to anyone, it was Homelander telling her that he intended to harvest her eggs. So that is what she thinks is happening to her right now. A horrible reality which turns out to not be the case. But we come to find out more about Maeve's situation later. For now, let's talk about Ashley's fit. She's wearing a modest, zebra-striped, form-fitting, high-neck dress that reaches mid-shin and heels. Her earrings are simple chain link dangles, and it's a very modest look for her. The zebra print is also, of course, with intention, which we'll find out more later. Later on in the episode, we see the Deep and Ashley greet Homelander in his room as he's watching news footage of his confession tape. She greets him very delicately, knowing that she's already in trouble. He, without missing a beat, demands to know where was she. She then reveals to him that both she and the Deep had to move Maeve out of the tower. The Deep says that it was her idea, and Ashley pivots it right back, "You were there." So they're kind of like, bickering twins almost. Homelander then asks her, where is Maeve now? But before she can answer, Black Noir enters the room after being missing for a long period of time. Ashley then looks between them, assesses the situation correctly, and then quietly excuses herself with the Deep trailing behind. It seems like You know, the two of them, they're a lot like Pain and Panic. You know, they're just like frantic minions that are just constantly trying to appease their master. Later on in the episode, still the same day, but night has fallen, we then witness a great moment of tense, climactic apprehension for all three of the underlings at Vought. A-Train, Ashley, and the Deep have all been summoned and gathered at the behest of Homelander. Little do they know, this is them on trial. Ashley stands silent as the Deep unpacks another strategy to Homelander about how to defeat Soldier Boy. And almost like he didn't hear him, Homelander replies in a deadpan manner that he has killed Black Noir in cold blood. Homelander is lashing out because once again he has chosen to murder a loved one in cold blood rather than let them be used against him as a weakness. And Black Noir was perhaps one of his closest allies in life. Homelander is a psychopath, and I truly don't believe that he is capable of love because his narcissism is just too great. I even think that if it were put up between him and saving Ryan's life, he would still choose himself. He would just be like, I'll just make another kid.
I can always start again. Make another kid.
Homelander, in a moment of true honesty, then unfurls a tale to the three of them about how when he first got introduced and he was told that he would have his very own team, he was so excited to have the family that he had never had before. And then he got them. It then pans to the three of them, the ringleader and her clowns, all ruled over by fear. Ashley stands in horrified silence as she reconciles with the fact that Starlight was right. It really could be any of them next. Now having twisted it into Black Noir betraying him, which isn't really true, Homelander then launches into a terrifying speech regarding Black Noir as the only true family member he had. Now, this is a psychotic memorialization of him after murdering him because he was a silent soup who couldn't communicate or defend himself. Homelander then goes systematically around the room and dresses down all three of them, reducing them to pathetic, groveling servants. After revealing that the Deep ran away in fear from Herogasm and also f***ed an octopus, he then whispers a hidden task to the Deep, who comments that it's treason, but goes and does it anyway. Ashley watches on in horror. Then, in a very highly built-up moment, Homelander then moves on to Ashley. He spotlights her and very dismissively tells her to take off that wig. Now, that is something that Homelander, with his supervision, could see the whole time, but at no point is the audience aware of when this transition to a wig happened. We do know that she's been playing with her hair, but we haven't really seen the truth of its severity. Ashley says, "What wig?" reflexively, and then Homelander levels her with a death stare, and at the threat of losing her life, she complies and removes her head of hair, revealing the horror. Ashley has plucked herself bald from stress. There's a few strands left, dude, but she is bald. She is the bald and the beautiful, okay? So I don't know when the wig came into play, but she kept picking her own hair, obsessively to the point of complete and total destruction of her entire scalp. Ashley breaks down with withheld tears of humiliation, and I'm so sorry, but A-Train's face is so funny. Earlier I mentioned that the zebra print was a deliberate choice, and this is the moment that it's been building to. Ashley, in her zebra dress, resembles prey in the sights of an apex predator, a woman who relies so heavily on appearances to maintain control, has now been exposed and humiliated by Homelander and left in a more vulnerable state than we've ever seen her. Homelander then thirdly accuses A-Train of killing one of his own in cold blood. It pans immediately to Black Noir's helmet to highlight how hypocritical this is. Homelander concludes the meeting by stating that Black Noir was better than all three of them, that none of them are his family, and he doesn't need them at all. Remember that. Now, this is a terrifying implication. Now that Black Noir, literally one of the closest people in Homelander's life, just got disposed of like he was nothing, imagine how quickly Homelander would dispose of these three clowns. Ashley is left frightened and solemn in understanding her new situation. All three of them are in the same boat, held hostage completely at the whim of Homelander's commands. Ashley clutches her wig like an anchor, her last line of defense that she has now been stripped of. I think the final shot lingering on her clutching her wig says a lot about how much we've learned about Ashley within the span of this scene. Later that same evening, Ashley is back in her office. She's always working, accompanied by her lesser assistant, Ashley. They both receive the alert from Huey over the intercom that there is an emergency happening in the building and that everyone needs to evacuate immediately. The Ashleys do not hesitate. They get their stuff and leave quickly, knowing that this is probably Homelander versus Soldier Boy going down. Out in the hall, Ashley tells Lesser Ashley very dismissively that the escape helicopter on the roof is for higher-ups only. Now, this is a very unempathetic moment for Ashley, because she can't even seem to consider how she used to be in this Ashley's shoes. It seems as though Ashley, our Ashley, has a sort of mental divide, where she associates this Ashley with who she used to be. So therefore, she doesn't treat her very kindly, as it represents a past version of herself and therefore weakness. Alpha Ashley has thrown on to go outside a lengthy orange silk robe, and this robe has a particular pattern that is similar to the zebra dress underneath it, but not quite the same. It's more akin to a tiger stripe pattern. Now, this is very deliberate, okay? Who the hell puts animal print on a different animal print? A psycho, unless you're telling something a part of the story, you see? It's almost like Ashley threw on a cheap cover to cover up the fact that she's truly prey, but actually enacts on predatory sort of instincts in putting others down and maintaining this hierarchy that's similar to that of the jungle, where it really is survival of the fittest. So what does this mean? Is Ashley a predator in a prey's disguise, or vice versa? It's hard to say, but what's not hard to say is that this is a very interesting look. In the final sequence of the season, a wonderful tune of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road plays as we see the resolution for all of our characters. Including this is Ashley, as she meets just alone with the head of security, a woman, who shows her footage of Maeve miraculously surviving the explosion with Soldier Boy being pulled out of the alley by the boys. Ashley gives her a very meaningful look and then makes a decision. She permanently deletes the footage, covers up that Maeve is alive, and keeps it an absolute secret. Ashley in this sequence is wearing a bright red blazer, and with it, dangly cubic gold hoops. Now, both of these definitely say something. So, red is Ashley's most signature color. It highlights her hair and her fiery personality. We see it in moments of great confidence for her. Meanwhile, earrings represent self-expression and confidence within Ashley, as we only see big, large, flashy earrings appear in moments of needed and represented strength. In light of Homelander's statement of complete and utter neutrality to Ashley's life, she has armed herself with a strong front for the season to come. This fit on Ashley foreshadows perhaps a hidden strength within her that we have yet to see. We have done it, people. Yet again, we have reached the end of a season without our Ashley dying. A true accomplishment. Many gold stars. All the gold stars for Ashley.
Oh, now, Patrick, I'm just like everyone else, no matter how many stars I have. 74.
Who said that?
Yet, there is still a long and winding road that our Ashley has yet to travel down, in which the events of the elevated challenges of her newfound role of CEO will unfold in the contents of Season 4. The subject of our next video. If you have journeyed all the way to the end of this video with me, I am very grateful. And hey, if you liked this video, if you enjoyed my jester's dance, feel free to hit that like or hit that subscribe. And hey, look down. Yeah, right there in front of you. It's a hat. Yes, as you see, a hat that I have placed in front of you on the sidewalk. If you feel like throwing change in it to support me in the future, down in my subscription is the link to my coffee and my Patreon. And anything literally will get a shout out. Another day, another promotion. We will reconvene at our next board meeting in which we will discuss the events that will unfold for our Ashley in Season 4. But until next time, this is Maeve the Human, your CEO, signing out. See ya!